When Mojgan first came to Yeronga State High School, she was highly traumatised. She'd been through some really horrific experiences in Iran. As Deputy Principal, I had a lot to do with Mojgan, and I saw her just blossom. And one of the most beautiful things that I got to see was I got to see Mojgan fall in love.
Mojgan and Milad have done so much already in terms of forming a life together in Australia, calling this their home. The strength of their love and commitment for each other in the middle of all this pain and suffering is extraordinary.
We have a feeling about each other, and we cannot find that in any other person. We were so happy before all these things happened.
When Mojgan was taken back into immigration detention, we were shocked. So when she was released, that was just the most incredible day for us. However, there is still the shadow of uncertainty that hangs over Mojgan and Milad. She's still not truly free. The unknown is not a nice thing to live with.
My name is Mojgan Shamsadipur. I came to Australia in 2012 and I lived from Iran to save my life. If I send back, our government will kill me and they will arrest me first, torture me, and finally they will kill me.
Mojgan's story before she came to Australia, it is horrendous what happened to her.
Mojgan told me she was beaten by the stepfather, and she was, physically getting tortured by the stepfather. In the age of 15, Mojgan got raped by her stepfather.
She said, when things got really bad, Mojgan went to a friend's house to seek help. But the older brother of her friend was home. Mojgan said he attacked her and he raped her. That man who raped her told the community that Mojgan had slept with him and it was consensual.
Mojgan told me she was accused by one of the family members who had links to the Iranian government of being immoral, which is a crime over there.
So the stepfather went, right, your name is Mud. We need to get you married. I've got a friend of mine who can marry you, and that was a man in his late 50s. And if you don't marry this man, you'll be cast out. Mojgan's mother actually said to her, go, just get out of the country. She went to anybody and everybody that she could to get money to secure Mojgan's escape from Iran.
Mojgan and her brother then made this arduous trip from Iran to Indonesia and then by boat to Australia. Mojgan was 17 at the time. She was detained in Christmas Island, then in Darwin, then in community detention in Brisbane, and then finally released on a bridging visa while her case for a protection visa was being processed by the department. Milad came by boat with his family under very difficult circumstances from Iran as well.
I was a teenager when we left Iran, and my dad was an anti-politic activist.
He was involved in activities that were adverse to the Iranian authorities.
It was a really tough and really dangerous and horrible journey, I would say. 6 days later, Australian Costume got us on board, and we did respect the law and we did stay in detention.
He has been recognized after having gone through the protection visa assessment process as a refugee.
We are working hard to make our little family business into a bigger kind of business so we can hire some people.
Although you can look at Mojgan and Milad and say they're both people who fled Iran, they fall into kind of very different categories when you talk about the reasons for why they left. Milad was a political asylum seeker, whereas Mojgan's story is very personal.
Milad and Mojgan met each other at a youth camp.
And from that moment, I saw her eyes. I went, this is it. I couldn't talk. I was like, wow, this is like too much for me. At that time, I was doing my grade 10.
Milad came to see me and said, "Miss, I've got this friend. Can she come to our high school?" And when I met Mojgan, I felt that she'd be a really good fit for our school. I could see that she was very committed to education, that while she was clearly under stress and distressed, that she had a lot to give. It was a good year before Mojgan felt that she was able to come to school every day and have more good days than bad days. For Mojgan and Milad, over time, their love for each other became very much a stabilising effect on them both. It grew in intensity and grew in strength. Mojgan started to grow in confidence. She performed at our Multicultural Day festival. She started to dance.
She was like a whole new person. She was very positive. She was very bright. That's where you could see it that she developed the most. From crying every day to just being able to come to school with a smile on her face.
Milad and Mojgan had been together for about 2 years when they decided to get married.
We were truly happy together. It was the best days of our life. My family, I would say, love Mojgan more than myself even. They call her as their daughter, which they never had.
It was late 2014 when all of Mojgan's protection visa processes finished.
The refugee tribunal decided that her case for asylum was not legitimate and that she could not be settled in Australia as a person seeking asylum.
The whole system of refugee protection is based on the fact that it is the state, the government, official entities that are persecuting individuals from whom they flee. So they flee from a war, they flee from discrimination, they flee from political suppression. Individualized violence by family members, as in this case, is one that was not envisaged when this protection system was created.
An immigration department, she did not talk about her rape by a family member. The only person who knew at that time, it was myself.
When you come from a culture where women don't ever speak about rape or sexual assault, it's not surprising that Mojgan didn't say, "Here's the nitty-gritty details of what occurred with me."
It was very clear when I read the decision that not being able to talk about her sexual abuse and rape did severely impact on her ability to satisfy a stranger that she was owed protection by Australia.
Later on, when we saying that to immigration, they wanted some evidence. Well, you cannot find an evidence where a family member raped you. There is no video tapes or anything of this.
They told Mojgan that she needed to go back into detention in Brisbane, and she was incarcerated in Brisbane immigration transit accommodation.
It was the worst week of my life. I don't know how Mojgan could survive that moment. It was so hard for me to believe that this is actually happening.
And it was just before the Year 12 year started. So we had to campaign as a school community and ask them if Mojgan could have permission to continue her education. Each day in Year 12, she was brought to school with a guard on a bus, and sometimes she was searched when she came into school.
I was shocked. I was like, how does this girl come to school every day with a smile on her face and yet still face that situation at the end of the day? So I thought that was remarkable.
It was really shocking to see her being watched all the time, you know, like she was an animal or something, you know. It was really strange.
They kept her in Brisbane detention for 8 months.
Mojgan Shamsalipur had been living with her husband before being put back in detention.
It's very upsetting and hurtful because we're just young and love each other, and all our dream was to living together and make our life and be happy. I will kill myself before to go Iran. Die in peacefully is better than die with torture.
One day she called me. She was very distressed and she was saying, "Miss, I don't know what's happening. The guards have said there's no school today. We're not allowed to go to school today. And I'm really worried. I think something's going to happen." The word got around that people were going to be transferred. Mojgan lodged an official complaint about the way that she was treated.
Mojgan was dragged onto a vehicle, taken to the airport and flown to Darwin to Wickham Point Detention Centre.
I particularly felt that I hadn't done enough. Like, how could she be taken? Like, I couldn't stop it. So that was really distressing for our school community and for me in particular, because I felt so close to Mojgan and I'd reassured her that she was safe here.
It's very shocking because she wasn't that far away from graduating, and we all thought that she was going to be a part of it. And then when the news came, it was kind of hard to comprehend.
Open the borders, close the camps! Free refugees!
We rallied our community, our P&C, our teachers in support of Mojgan. We became very galvanised.
She's scared. She's desperate. She's exhausted of this.
It really opened my eyes to how a community can come together. So being able to experience it was very exciting for me, very sad, but it felt really empowering.
At Wickham Point, people are given the option of either voluntarily going back to Iran or staying in indefinite detention. It was very clear when I visited her that although she was putting on a brave face, she was constantly scared of what might happen to her, scared of if she'll ever be together with Milad again.
I tried to go and see her once a month or 2 months. We went in, there was the guard in the corner sitting, watching us. The first thing they said, you cannot hug inside that facility, you cannot touch each other that much, you cannot kiss. And I hugged her and the guard was saying, that's it, that's it. And I couldn't stop hugging her.
So she can't live with her husband. She can't start a family. Even in prison, people have conjugal visits that they can apply for. A person in immigration detention cannot.
Where an Australian permanent resident is married to an overseas national, they're allowed to sponsor them to remain in Australia as their family unit. Now, you'd expect Milad to have the same rights, except there are provisions in the Migration Act which say that if anyone arrived by boat, then the only way in which they can apply for any visa in Australia is by the minister's intervention. Now, if the minister does not intervene, the only possible way for her to lodge a valid partner visa would be to leave Australia and apply for a partner visa offshore. Mojgan was very clear through all this, though, that she is never going back to Iran. Iran does not accept forced deportees from Australia.
Our Queensland Teachers Union paid for us teachers to fly to Darwin and to investigate how we get her schooling complete. In Darwin, she was just drained, like the light had gone out of her face. She had dark circles under her eyes. She was very down and just,
felt like she had no hope, I think.
The conditions in Wickham Point are not pleasant. Mojgan has chronic kidney infections.
It's really hard to leave her there, that you get to see her and spend time with her, but then you leave her there, and that's always hard, driving away.
We then went about formulating a submission, explained to the minister what a compelling and compassionate case this was.
The minister has the discretion and the power to grant visas on compassionate grounds, and this is one of those cases where he could do that.
Mojgan started studying again, and she didn't care that where she is. It didn't affect her studies. She still had A, B's, all those good marks, and she just kept doing the hard work because she believed in her dreams. So she finished high school. I got the graduation certificate, and I actually framed it in my room, so when she comes out, she can put it somewhere.
When I just spoke to her recently this weekend,
so for the next around 6 months, we were in the dark. We had no idea what was happening with Mojgan's case. There were people on all sides of politics willing to speak up for Mojgan, and they did.
I rise to speak about a Yeronga State High School student who's not celebrating schoolies down at the Gold Coast. Instead, she's in a detention facility in Darwin.
Free Mojgan! Now! We will continue to fight until Mojgan and other innocent refugees are free. Open the borders, close the camps! Free refugees!
In February 2016, we got correspondence from the Department of Immigration to the effect that the Minister's office had refused to intervene in Mojgan's case.
That means more time in detention. I didn't tell to Mojgan, and I was like, I couldn't say anything, and I just hanged up the phone.
Four of the nation's key immigration facilities will close. Immigration and Border Protection Minister Peter Dutton announced that Darwin's Wickham Point facility lease would not be renewed.
The way she was transferred back to Brisbane is another escapade altogether. She was surrounded by guards the whole time. While she was disembarking the airplane, of course there was Milad waiting for her with a bunch of roses, ready to welcome her.
I'm just feeling very excited now.
As she came through the gate, Milad stood up and the guards would not allow her to stop. Milad could see that they were going to walk past, so he stepped in front of her and hugged her.
They took her away from me, from my hug, and they didn't allow her to have the flowers.
We have complained to the Human Rights Commission on the basis that Mojgan's detention is arbitrary and indefinite. The department has initiated a submission to the Minister's office for what we call a residency determination. And unfortunately, it seems that the Minister has again refused and declined to intervene and make a residency determination.
It is nothing to do with the policies, it is nothing to do with the government, it is just to do with two people who love each other so much and they want to live together.
Our school community certainly will not give up in the fight for Mojgan to be free. We've been involved in actively campaigning for over a year now, and we won't be stopping. We've heard that Mojgan is going to be released with a bridging visa, and then we've just heard about 45 minutes ago that she signed the paperwork and she's going to be released today, and Milad and I are going to go and collect her. As we were driving towards the detention centre, we were getting, increasingly excited.
Cinemas, kissing, hugging, and having more than 2 hours visits.
And no guards watching.
I could see outside. I could see people waiting for me, but they couldn't see me. I got goosebumps still. It was unbelievable. When they opened the door and they said, "You're free to go," I couldn't walk out. I was looking to my friends and the place. I couldn't believe this. We walked out. I saw Milad.
Becky.
It was like a miracle. For 2 years I was waiting for that moment. Seeing Miss Walker and my teachers, everything was different. The sky was different, the land was different, everything was different on that time for me. It was a great feeling.
And that was beautiful, like just being able to witness that.
We are going to my house, to my home.
Your home? That's my home.
Milad's mom and dad, they're like my own parents, and they don't have a daughter, so they feel the same. They feel that I'm their daughter. So when I step out from the car, Milad called, "Dad, Mushkan is here."
We were going, where's Milad's mother? And Mojgan just ran down to meet her.
Seeing Milad's mom like that really broke me. Seeing that she's broken, she was really broken.
Milad's mother couldn't believe that Mojgan was free.
It's really hard to know what influenced the minister's decision. It's really hard to know why he has chosen now to exercise his ministerial powers and allow her to be free.
We're going to cheer up to love between the family, between the husband and wife. And also, last thing is to freedom.
Mojgan.
That's Kevin. Oh my God!
I didn't know he's coming, but in the beach I saw him.
How are you? Couldn't miss this. How are you?
Oh my God!
He's really good human being.
Oh my God!
He really helped us, and he done a great job, and he's still working for us.
My mom.
The Minister for Immigration and Border Protection has finally exercised his discretionary non-compellable powers to grant Mushkan a bridging visa. Now, a bridging visa entitles her to come outside of detention, thankfully reunite with her husband, get her life back together. While we welcome the decision, we do question, however, that the Minister has not gone far enough to grant her certainty over her future in Australia. Mushkan is still effectively in limbo.
Today is the first public event that Mojgan has been able to come to and speak out at.
We had that terrible event.
Some people have advised her not to go into the limelight and to just kind of live her life quietly and not draw any attention to herself. But Mojgan has always said that she wanted her story to be shared because there are so many who are in similar situations who don't have a voice and don't have the community support.
Hello everyone, I'm so grateful and pleased to be here.
The crowd were overwhelmed. Here's this girl that we've empathised with and really felt should be back with us in our community, and here she is in our community again.
And I also want to thank you guys for this outstanding and amazing support for all the refugees. Okay, thank you very much, and Milad.
ها؟
دست با بزنید درست
خب میخوای یه رنگ دیگه بزنم؟
نه بزن. همین دو بزن.
They've always been a very romantic couple. When you see them together, you can see that their love is just as strong, if not stronger than ever before. Education has always been incredibly important to Mojgan, and she was determined to complete her Year 12 studies.
Virunga is not only a school for me, it's like a home for me, because for 1 year that I was in detention, the only place that I attend from detention, and it gave me peace, and I was so happy to be there.
At our awards night, it was so awful that she couldn't be there and receive her graduation certificate and to receive her award. And so when she was released, immediately we were like, right, you know, the time has come, she needs to be able to walk across that stage now, and we need to be able to celebrate that with our school community, and she needs to have that experience.
Today is the graduation night, so I'm really happy and excited that I'm going and I'm gonna attend the ceremony. It's really exciting and I'm so happy.
On behalf of the whole of the school community, it gives me great pleasure to present Mojgan with her graduation certificate. Congratulations.
So proud that I can be here and take my certificate. This was impossible for me. It was like a dream to stand here, but now it's possible with Miss Walker and all the teachers and principal. Thank you very much, everyone.
With Mojgan being released, she has a bridging visa. They only last for 3 months, so she's on her second bridging visa now. And when the next date comes up, we don't know if she'll get another bridging visa or not. They're living in the now and taking pleasure in every day that they have together.
Everything is really enjoyable for us at the moment. We are really planning on our future. I just, dream of live freely and peacefully together. That's all I dream of as well.
Sometimes I forgot where I am, what happened to me, but when it's come back to me, I close my eyes for seconds and I say, hopefully it's not a dream.
To show how tall you are.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the journey because she's not free. You know, she's still not free. She's living in our community, but it's on borrowed time.
Haven't had a dream in a long time. See the life I've had, make a good man turn